You know what I haven't done in a while? My character chart series. My last one was on the Webtoon original Let's Play, and it was mainly done to add some variety to my channel. There are some benefits and some downsides, only talking about 9 important characters is being one of them. However, the other is more... sometimes I don't talk about these characters again. Unless they're the main characters or do something really interesting, these characters often get put onto the wayside. Which is kind of what I thought would happen with Unordinary's Blyke. Someone whose name might be pronounced differently, however, I refuse. Some people have been asking that I talk about Blyke again, which, I'll be honest, kind of surprised me. Blyke's importance to the story varies between the 2 seasons. Season 1 Blyke wasn't important at all? I would consider him a background main character for most of Season 1, as we were more interested in just about everyone else. John was our fun main character, someone specifically made to be interesting in a world full of powerful people. Serafina was an example of a powerful person, but also John's friend, and had an interesting plot of expectations. Meanwhile, Arlo wasn't our villain, but he was basically hated by everyone, as he set in motion a lot of the bad things that happened. And Remy was the one we wanted to like, but didn't do enough to justify her words. And Eisen was a much more interesting background character compared to Blyke. For most of Season 1, Blyke didn't do much by himself. A lot of his actions were typically linked to one of 2 things. Rather his friends or the idea of being a protector, and often it's linked to both of those things. Blyke is often linked to his friend group, having Remy, Eisen, and himself, as his first appearance is him being smashed through the wall by his best friend? I don't know how close he and Eisen are, but they seem close. However, many of his other appearances early in the first season is his role as a protector, or the Jack. The royal position Jack doesn't actually derive from a position of royalty. It actually comes from the position of the knave, meaning a male servant. Granted, we see that the Jack is a gender-neutral position, so please don't leave comments on that because I mentioned it. But the point is that the Jack is a loyal servant of royalty. And we see that loyalty to the royalty. Loyalty to the royalty. We see his loyalty to the royals, but especially to the school queen, Remy. As we see a lot of the times he protects someone, it's typically Remy. Remember that time John slapped Remy's hand because he thought she was Claire? And when he was apologizing, Blyke shot a beam at his head? Which, legitimately could have killed him. What the heck, Blyke? You can't heal... Can you heal someone with a hole in the brain in this world? I don't think you can. It's the general gist, you probably can't heal that. That's too much damage. That's a lot of damage. Or, when Remy started to track down Ember, Blyke was upset that she was doing it without them. And when she started her vigilante life as X-Ray, Blyke was very willing to help her out and be her sniper. And while it appears it's just Remy, probably because he has a crush on her, it also applies to Eisen. After Eisen gets beaten down by Joker, we see that when Joker faces Blyke, his first response is, "You want to challenge me? Fine. I'll take you on. I've got a bone to pick with you after all. You hurt Eisen. And you've been causing a lot of ruckus around the school." Notice how the first thing on his mind was Eisen, was taking revenge instead of preventing more damage. Granted, he did course correct himself to mentioning the ruckus around the school, but his priorities are on his friends. That protector role I mentioned really isn't protecting everyone equally. It's really only protecting his friends. Blyke has 3 arcs. His first arc is the Royal Protector arc. What I mentioned before, how Blyke really only protected and looked out for his friends and the Royals. He didn't do a whole lot outside of that though. He didn't really protect the school. That was until Blyke himself was also brutally beaten down by the Joker. Or by John. After that moment, we see Blyke start to change into a new arc. But it comes to a head after the Joker versus Royals battle. Blyke struggles with the fact that even with the best of the school, he's stumbling. As we hear him complain to Arlo, "I just want some advice. Well, when you graduate, I'm next in line for king, right? How am I supposed to lead a whole school? What do I do if I can't handle it?" This was before Blyke fought the Joker, and we already see that insecurity forming. Blyke is confused, scared, and nervous. He was always worried. Granted, he always had Arlo, Remy, Eisen, Elaine, and other elite and high tiers. His worries were never a problem, as he was always strong enough to deal with the situation. But after the Joker attacks, Blyke starts to lose more and more confidence, up until that big Royal v Joker fight. After this moment, we see a new side of Blyke, someone who desperately needs to become better. This starts a new arc for Blyke, someone who needs to get as strong as possible as soon as possible. We hear him complain about the situation to Eisen. "You aren't bothered by that? Because I can't stop thinking about all the crap he's done. He's brutalized my friends, and went as far to send Remy and me to the hospital. It was so humiliated. I've never felt this worthless before. My issue is with John. There's something seriously wrong with the way he functions. And if he can take us all down easily, then who's supposed to keep him in check? What if he takes things even further? Who's to stop him?" Eventually, that same chapter, he has a nightmare where we see Blyke losing control, as Joker has both Eisen and Remy in his grasp. Eventually, he wakes up thinking, "I need to get stronger." Which starts Blyke's new arc, an arc of becoming stronger, strong enough to stop John, which leads Blyke to start a secret life as a vigilante, believing that it will boost his strength, to which it does. He does grow stronger, he gains new abilities like the energy blast spray kind of thing instead of his beam, and he gains a higher level. But there's something interesting about this. It's that Blyke, at this moment, is a vigilante, but has no vigilante name. And he does kind of have an ulterior motive. That becoming stronger thing. Don't get me wrong, Blyke is still doing a noble task here, helping out people who can't be helped, people who are being ignored by the authorities. But it's a noble task for a selfish reason. I actually brought this up in my Ember Thoughts video. Blyke started doing the vigilante business to level up, as he puts it. And really, that's his motivation. That idea of getting strong enough to beat John and protect his friends, and things really didn't change. That is until episode 196. At first, it was seemingly another workout for Blyke, going to another town, being terrorized by another strong villain. However, Blyke realizes that he could possibly die in this situation, deciding that he should probably back down. "I have to get out of here. This is way too dangerous. Remember, Blyke, you started this superhero thing for training purposes, and that's it. If you go out there and make one wrong move, you'll get yourself killed." But after seeing the innocent townfolk get beaten down by Disc Boy over here, he couldn't convince himself to leave them alone. At this moment, Blyke changed, or maybe accepted the changes that were already taking place. Blyke fully, without hesitation, jumped in to save these townfolks. And notice that this is where he gets his vigilante name, that being Nobody. If you haven't seen my Ember Thoughts video, I do go a little in depth on why I think this is a good name. The two reasons being classic literature and a shift in priority. The Odyssey, a Greek epic poem that technically takes place after the Trojan War, has a storyline. Our main character Odysseus tricks a giant cyclops and then stabs him in the eye with the sharp end of a pole. The reason I bring up this very strange story is because when the giant cyclops asked for Odysseus' name, he told him it was Nobody. The reason this is important is because Odysseus 100% could not beat the Cyclops through strength alone. He had to outsmart the Cyclops, which might hint to what Blyke has to do to beat John. Meanwhile, the name Nobody also represents a shift in Blyke's priority, as he started the vigilante stuff for his own gain. As he started the vigilante stuff for his own gain. As he started the vigilante stuff for his own gain. But shifted it to helping others. And this isn't just when he's a vigilante. While Blyke has been stopping the faux jokers, there really wasn't any risk, as he knew those were low to mid tiers. No, the important moment is when Blyke stands against John, not once, but twice. You have to remember here that he is fully 100% aware that he cannot beat John. This is a fact. However, the 2 times he stands against John, both are situations where people need help. Once outside when someone is considering joining the safe house, and the next time was at the safe house. Blyke's character has shifted into an actual protector. Someone who protects everyone equally. Not just royals, not just his friends, but everyone who needs help. And I hate to do this to Blyke, but we should really talk about John. Something that you have to understand is John was kind of the catalyst to all this character development. In a recent episode, we hear Headmaster Keon say, "I had high hopes for him." During his enrollment interview, he had all the qualities I was looking for. Charismatic, empathetic, powerful. He stirred the waters and got all the high rankers moving. I wanted him to grow on his own and lead our students in a better direction. But now, he's the only one keeping the school from moving forward. But I raise a different viewpoint. I think that John is causing the school to move forward, but not in the way that Keon intended. Keon wanted a leader, someone that could link the low tiers, the high tiers, and everyone in between. Someone who could assist everyone because he knows both situations. He's been both powerful and powerless. But that's not what John did. Instead, he gave everyone a common enemy. He treated everyone equally, which means he treated everyone terribly. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is in danger. This forced everyone to change into a new system. Remy went hard and continues to go strong by making a safe house and being the only good royal. Aizen learned to use his media to help everyone. Arlo learned that not everyone should be a royal, even if he started to backslide a little. And yes, there are high tiers that aren't changing. For example, Zeke. But there are more that are. And Blyke's was the most dramatic. Someone who became a fully fledged protector. Someone who's helping everyone equally. Not just royals or his friends or people who are bothering him. Everyone. It's funny to think that Blyke's character arc started because of John. Someone he hated so much. But that's just what I think about Blyke. What about you? How do you feel about Blyke? Do you think I got something wrong? I'm not going to change how I say his name. Oh, also, next month is February, which is the month of love. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of romance and drama webtoons next month for the next couple weeks. And I wanted to give you guys an Unordinary video before diving straight into that. But that's all for this week. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.